Did our live audience show out at LC Ranch, the road less traveled, and he said, I got to get out of here pretty quick. I got to go do a podcast in Fort Worth. It's a cool podcast. It's Bobby Duncan. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So I'm intrigued. You're on my radar. So then Drew does the show, and then you put the podcast up, and I listen. I'm like, it's pretty cool, you know. And then I started looking at the other people you've had on your show, on your podcast. And I'm like, man, this guy's had some really cool people on his show, and I probably listened to half a dozen. Cool. Of the shows, and I really dig what you're doing. So I was like, you know what? You're a singer-songwriter as well. I was like, I'm going to get him on my show. I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
So first of all, I love what you do with your podcast.
Thank you.
It's called The Co-Write.
The Co-Write, yeah. It's hosted with my best friend, longtime co-writer, Donovan Dodd. And he and I met a dozen years ago, maybe a little less than that, when I was just starting out. I had a residency at Leavenworth, Texas, in Grapevine. Uh-huh. And he lived up the highway, and I had done a few shows for this thing in Fort Worth that we used to have called the Clubhouse Concert Series, which was like, it was held in a clubhouse of an apartment complex, hosted by this wonderful music fan named Joni Beard. But it was guys like Randy Rogers, Wade Bowen, Stoney LaRue that'd come in and play on their way back home to make cash, because they were cash strapped. They just had young bands. And he heard about me, and then it started coming out every week at Leavenworth, and I was like, well, this guy's here every week. I need to meet him. I need to introduce myself.
Be cordial.
Yeah, so I introduced myself. We started writing songs like a week or two later, and it hadn't stopped since. And then our friend Brad Beheeler from Gallywinter did a podcast, or wanted to do this podcast about the scene, because there were a few, but Brad's been around since the beginning. And he did one episode. And he was like, I don't have time for this. So he texted Donovan and said, you should do it. And then Donovan asked me if I'd be interested, because I have all the recording equipment. And I was like, let's just see what happens. So we did a few of the early ones that were just us, talking, and they weren't very good. And we had a few interviews early on from friends that weren't great either. And it took us a little while to find our footing, but once we did, we really enjoy it, and we really do it for what listeners we have because of the feedback they've given us, but really for us too. Yeah. It's fun to sit down with your friends and learn more about their lives that you didn't really know before, and it's also a very relaxed environment because I've known most of these people for 10 years.
And that comes across in the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I like about it the most is it's very casual.
Yeah.
And I get to hear Drew Kennedy talk to you. You guys are friends.
Yeah.
And it's different than when, Drew and I become friends, but it's still different. So
yeah.
It's refreshing, and I like it a lot. And you're 36 episodes in?
Yeah, I think that's right. I can't remember where we decided to stop at the end of this year. I have a big family, and we just got through with 5 Christmases all across the state, so we didn't really have time to do many more. But we have one in the can that we're going to put out, I think, at the start of January, and that's with Brandon Rhyder.
That's cool. He was the first guest on my show.
Yeah.
I did a phoner with him.
Yeah.
I lost the audio.
Oh, man.
I had to call his PR person and be like, can we do it again?
That's so funny. We recorded the podcast, and for whatever reason, my computer restarted about 10 minutes in. So we had to restart the podcast.
The curse of Brandon Rhyder.
I don't know. I wish I had known that before.
That's really
But I had to fight.